Okay, it's 10 a.m. Call the meeting to order. This is a regular assembly meeting scheduled today so we can address the bond indebtedness of the school. Clerk, please call the roll.
Jeff?
Here.
Bob?
Here.
Brandy? Here. Kurt?
Here.
Taylor?
Here.
Mark?
Here.
Jay?
Here. Okay, we have a full assembly with member Jay Stanton Gregor calling in. It's now time for the voluntary Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next item on the agenda is item 3, and I'd entertain a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from June 21st, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by member Mucci, seconded by member Borough. All those in favor of approving these minutes say aye. Aye. Okay, those are approved unanimously. And next item on the agenda is item 4, amendment and approval of today's meeting agenda. If there's no amendments, I'd entertain a motion to approve the meeting agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second. Motion's been made by member Mucci, seconded by member Lynn. And I've seen nobody with hands up to amend the agenda, so all those in favor of moving forward with the agenda as presented say aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay, item 5, public hearings. There's nothing listed today under public hearings. There are no bid awards today. That brings us to item 7, which is persons to be heard related to items on today's agenda. So if there's anybody in the audience that would like to share their views on any item on today's agenda, they may do so at this time. Okay, we have 2 people in the audience of attendance, so nobody's interested in talking under that item. So the next item, 8, is persons with views on subjects not on today's agenda. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on the items that are not on today's agenda? Seeing none, that moves us on to the next item on the agenda. Board, commission, and committee reports. There are none. There are no items on the consent agenda today. That brings us to item 11, report of other officers. There are no other officers with any reports today. There is no mayor's report today. That's item 12, as well as no manager's report, which is item 13 on the agenda. There is no unfinished business today. And that brings us to item 15, new business. And it's Resolution 2019-11. This is a resolution setting a supplemental mill rate for the fiscal year July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020 to address the governor's veto of school bond debt reimbursement. I entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second. Motion's been made by member Mucci, seconded by member Lynn. Discussion. Member Murrell.
Well, I personally am not in favor of this. I would like to see this be absorbed in our budget and go through 3 readings of a supplementary budget. Jody can send them out as is. It's only $236,000. I don't think it needs to be put on the ratepayers. He plans on axing us more next year. And I think that we need to eliminate the EMS position, or not eliminate, it's a position being created. We don't have any more people in this community than we've had. We need to find efficiencies in our government, as far as I'm concerned.
Any other discussion on the resolution? Member Lynn.
Thank you. I share some of Brandy's concerns here. Is that I seriously thought about not voting for this because I think it's time to go back and revisit the budget. Jody's told us that the total amount will go back onto the taxpayers next year, not the 0.8. In addition to that, we have a chance of losing another $113,000 in revenue from the state. That puts us in a different position. But I'm going to vote for it. But I think we need to go back and revisit the budget and look at what we're spending money on and reduce it down. Maybe eliminate those positions and maybe but we got to do something, because I don't want to raise taxes next year above what we're going to have to do for this. To do that, we're going to have to, I think, look at how we're doing business. And frankly, some folks aren't going to like it. Either that or we're going to have to raise taxes, and I'm not in favor of doing that. So with that, that's my spiel.
Any other discussion on Resolution 2019-11?
Mr. Mayor?
Member Mucci.
Whatever's convenient, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Okay, Jay, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. I'll be voting for this today, and not because I like it. I'll be voting yes because the way our governor handled his business by waiting till the last possible minute and then kind of throwing grenades at all the community and how that may impact us. I don't want to do business like him. I want to make sure we're being measured and being prudent in our decisions and the way we look at our budget. I think Member Morrell, Member Lynn make good points as far as revisiting certain things and to create efficiencies for the future. That's prudent. But going back at it right now and kind of dropping bombs on our own community by us being reactionary doesn't make sense to me. So I'm voting for this, and that's why.
Member Mucci?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, the governor's got us kind of backed into a corner here. We could certainly revisit the budget, but for me, revisiting the budget is something that should be done very methodically during the winter time when we have some time to sit down and let the community know that their services that they've come to expect are not going to remain the same. I mean, I expect the same kind of budget cuts next year from the governor next year as well. And by making us wait till the 4th of July or some other date late into the calendar year, it really puts us at a disadvantage. And he's not doing any favors to us. I don't think anybody wants to see the taxes go up, but we're kind of stuck here at this point. So I'm going to be voting for this.
Any other comments? Member Walhuter or Member Norham? Member Walhuter?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to go on the record, I definitely agree with what everybody has said here, and especially what Jeff, Mr. Member Mucci said. I think we really have to scrutinize our budget here in the wintertime when we have time to be able to massage it a little bit, and everybody has a chance to participate in what's going on. And I really think that the governor did do us injustice here by waiting so long, in fact. So that's just my personal opinion, and hopefully he'll get his act together, and next year he'll have a budget out, when we have time to adjust our budgets if necessary. So anyway, I'll be voting for this.
Sure.
You don't have to.
But you might as well. So I guess when we're looking around to cut things through our budget, you might want to go and talk to all the department heads and find out where you can do this at, instead of just blanket saying we're cutting this much from each department for no reason. That's it.
Member Morrell?
Well, in response to that, I think that we've already cut services in Parks and Rec, and yet the budget doesn't reflect that. Our fire department has Kevlar gear. What do they need Kevlar SWAT? There's all sorts of inefficiencies all around. I don't think $200,000, I think it could be easily cut.
Okay.
Anybody else? I'll chime in. We're talking, I heard all the assembly members talk about going back and revisiting the budget, and that's one of the reasons I didn't vote for the budget in this third and final reading, was because of three things that were in the budget, and one of them was the EMS position, the other one was filling the vacant police position, and also the Petro land swap money that the harbor had in it. When you total those all together, it was like $500,000-ish. And so I'm having a hard time voting for this. We need to do it. It's our obligation because the people voted for these bonds. I'd like to find a way to make it up between now and next year when the governor takes the other half of the school bond indebtedness reimbursement away, which he will. potentially revenue sharing will go away, and maybe he'll find a way to even get at the raw fish tax, and it's going to be a worse scenario than what we're looking at now. So we have to find, ways to be more fiscally responsible. I guess we could go back and do a supplemental budget to change the budget we just passed after 3 readings. Sounds like most of the Assembly members think we should revisit certain issues there. So I don't know. I'm on the fence. I don't know if I'm going to vote for this today. We'll probably pass, it sounds like, but I just, we are backed into a corner. That's true. But I think, in my mind, I knew this was, I thought this was coming when you have Senator Stedman's, making comments publicly and hold on to your checkbook. This guy's serious. He's as serious as a heart attack. He said when the Governor Dunleavy was first coming out with his budget, and this is just his first year in office. We've got 3 more years to endure with him trying to get the budget where he wants it. So I don't think I'll be voting for this today. Any other discussion? Member Mucci?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, if we're looking for, efficiencies and more money, we could certainly spend maybe more effort looking at the state's unfunded mandates that impact Petersburg. We've got the senior citizens property tax exemption that the state has mandated but does not pay anymore, and that's like $475,000. And we're looking at a senior citizens sales tax exemption, and that's another $375,000. So there's like $1 million that the borough has to pay that originally started out with an exemption from the state that they were paying for the program, and now they're not. So those are 2 things that, there's $1 million that we have to come up with to take care of some things in town, and I think we could spend some more time lobbying our legislators to either fund that thing or get rid of the property tax exemption. But yeah, there's other things we could do, I'm sure. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion on Resolution 2019-11? Clerk, call the roll. Oh, yes, sorry. Member Stanton Greger.
It's all good. Just one point of clarification in terms of the budget and my statement regarding revisiting it. That was not to imply I wanted to reopen that for this fiscal year, but I would echo what Member Wolhooter and Leachy said as far as the winter months and the community can have lots of involvement in it. That's all, just to clarify.
Okay. Well, it's maybe after this happens and the mill rate goes up a little bit, people will be more inclined to come to a meeting when we start talking about things instead of grumbling on the street when the decisions have been made to come and participate. And that's always been a frustration that I've felt when people don't get involved when the process is taking place initially.
Yeah.
Member Lynn?
Yeah, my concern with this, and I was on the fence too, is that I thought, well, if I didn't vote for it and we have to eat it, at least that would force us back to do a supplemental budget and to look at, to do away with those positions. And I really believe that we need to do that this year, because then if we keep filling those positions and we continue down the same line, we're going to be in the same boat next year unless we make some change. That's why I really believe we need a supplemental. Go back and revisit and do a supplemental, even though, and I agree that maybe this winter looking at changing how we do business, but in the meantime, I think we need to, where we can, we need to do a supplemental and change what we can.
Any other discussion before we call for a vote? Clerk, call the roll.
Taylor,
Yes.
Jay,
Yeah.
Jeff,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Brandy,
No.
Kurt,
Yes.
Mark,
No. Okay, Resolution 2019-11 passes with Member Morrell and myself, Mayor Jensen, voting no. So we will go forward with that. Next item on the agenda is communications. There are none unless somebody else has any. No, seeing nobody raising their hand. Assembly discussion items. Recognitions. I'd like to put a thanks out to the people that put the fireworks display together last night. It was pretty incredible as usual, and there was no fires, so that was good. I guess there was, according to Member Norheim, but it didn't last long, so I'm glad the fire department was watching it. Any other recognitions? Entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We did it. Thank you, Jay, for taking your time.
I heard that Paul Anderson had a 15-minute meeting.
What's that?
I heard Paul Anderson had a 15-minute meeting one time. We did it in 14.
We did it in 14. It'd been shorter.